Hi there, my name is Steve Sergi and I'm with Remax, and today we're going to talk about how to buy a home. Well, this is actually my 25th year in the real estate business. It's hard to believe. And we've seen a lot of changes over the years, but the one thing that has stayed consistent is really my passion for the business. It's been a great career. It's been a lot of fun. And I think it's safe to say that I've helped thousands of families buy and sell homes. And I got to tell you, it's as exciting today as it was when I first started back in 1994. First home. It was actually Valentine's Day. And walked through the house with my then girlfriend. And I suggested to her, what did she think about it? And it was a fixer-upper. She thought, oh my gosh, why are you asking me? We're not engaged. And that same day, I wrote an offer, got accepted, and proposed to my now wife of 31 years. And she accepted too. So the benefits of a real estate agent as a buyer, someone looking to buy a home, really, first off, starts with an advisory role, a consultant, if you would. That's the role of the realtor, whether you're buying or selling. But really, for buyers, and especially for first-time home buyers, if you can connect with an agent who has some experience, they can help you navigate all the ins and outs of a real estate transaction. Unfortunately, it's not just, oh, wow, we found the house of our dreams, and then we close on it. There are lots of steps along the way that you want to have somebody who understands the process and not only can help you get through them, but also when it comes down to some negotiation is involved, you want somebody who can handle that as well. When you're buying a home, you want to have somebody representing you. And in the real estate business, when you're buying a home, the realtor actually represents you exclusively, no interest to the seller, and you don't pay the fee. It's a free service to the buyer. You know what that's called? Service. Yes, we provide this service, and when we fulfill our service contract, if you would, and you close on a home, we get paid by the seller. First off, I like to invite them into our office. I go through a 30 to 45 minute little Q&A to talk about all the different steps along the way. There's basically 10 steps of buying a house that I broke down. There's probably more and there could be less, but there's generally 10 steps to the process. And we cover everything from, what's the role of a realtor, to how do I pay for it, to how do I buy it, how do I write an offer, and those kinds of things. If you're going to buy an existing home, it's going to take anywhere from 30 to 45 days from date of signing a contract to day of getting the keys to closing. That's if you're going to buy an existing home. Now, if you're going to build a home, a brand new home with a builder, it could take anywhere from 4 to 6 months. One of the important steps is can you buy? Okay? So I always say, I like to break things down and to simplify them. First off, you have to have desire. Do you want to buy a house? And I tell people all the time, if you have desire and you want to buy a home, you can. Now, the question is that today or is that in 5 years? And so the few things that a buyer needs to know about buying a house is, number one is, do they have a job? Are they employed? Do they have good credit? What kind of debt do they have? Do you have student loans? Do you have car loans? What are you currently paying for rent? And then, of course, is how much do you have saved as a down payment? You'll need a down payment, and that can vary in terms of dollars. Okay, so depending on the type of loan you get. So there are basically 3 types of loans. There's what's called a VA loan, a Veterans Administration loan, an FHA loan, which is a Federal Housing Administration loan, and then a conventional mortgage where you put 20% down, okay? Years gone by, that's how you had to, when you were going to buy a house, you had to put 20% down. Well, today, if you've served in the military and you have an honorable discharge, you actually can buy with zero money out of pocket. If you've not served in the military and you want to buy a home with a little money down, you can get what's called a FHA, or a Federal Housing Administration loan, for 3.5% down. So take your $200,000, let's call it a 3.5% down. So that's $7,000. On top of that are the closing fees. Now, I mentioned earlier, closing fees can be paid by the seller if asked and agreed, but let's say that they're not willing because you're in a tight negotiation, so you add that on top of it, so that's 10, and then you might want to give yourself an additional $1,000 for home inspections and maybe some miscellaneous fees along the way. So let's call it $11,000 that you need to buy a $200,000 house. I have rarely had a home inspection done where the amount of repairs that were requested by the seller weren't greater than the cost of the inspection report itself. A good inspector is going to do everything from getting on the roof to in the crawl space, and then everywhere in between. They're going to check the furnace. They're going to flush the toilets. You know that most people buy a house, sign a contract, and never flush a toilet until they have a home inspection. So it's everywhere in between, and it takes anywhere from 2 to 3 hours, and it costs anywhere from $350 to $500. So a couple things about property taxes. First off, in most cases, it's a good way to budget too. If you are looking at a home and you plan to live there, property taxes are capped out in Indiana at 1% of the purchase price. So if you're going to buy a home that's $200,000, the annual property taxes are going to be $2,000 a year. Now, full disclosure, there could be some slight variations if you're in an area where they've had a referendum for schools, it may have gone up a little, but generally speaking, you've got a 1% tax cap. And those taxes are usually built into your loan payment. So when you're actually meeting and talking to a lender about your payments, the four main elements of your payments are going to be principal and interest, taxes, and insurance. Those are the four main elements. And then depending on how much you put down, if you put less than 20% down, you have this fifth component called a private mortgage insurance, which is a fee that you pay to the lender that gives them the comfort that you're not going to default on the loan, even though you're putting less than 20% down. Yeah, well, it is kind of fancy. It's kind of fun because what it does is it literally gets you into a brand new home, and it's a great option for a lot of people because you don't have to worry about, is my roof gonna do I need a new roof, or do I need a new furnace, air conditioner? Those things are all brand new. So why do people decide to build versus buy? Well, if you want something that's brand new and you like the feel of a new car smell, buying a home, or building a home, might be for you. The potential downside for some people is because of the actual land that's out there available, it might be a little further destination from, say, maybe your workplace. But gosh, if you like new and you work from home, it might be the best of all worlds for you. Yeah, over 30 years? Yeah, a lot. A lot. In fact, when you go to close, actually, there is a 360 payment lineup that shows you exactly how much interest you're going to pay over that time period. And people look at that number and go, oh my gosh, well, The reality of it is very few people stay for 30 years, but the number is well exceeds the $200,000, which is frankly why you want to try to, if you can, put as much money down and frankly, pay it off sooner than later. Because every time you make a payment into that loan, you're basically getting a return on your investment equal to the interest rate you're paying. So if you're paying 5% and you're paying it off, you're really getting 5% return on your money. So my name's Steve Sergi, and I work for Remax Legends Group. We have a team called the Sergi Group. You can reach me either online, which is thesergigroup.com, or you can call me, of course, call or text 317-507-5883. And then, of course, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you're interested in this kind of information and you actually want to pursue something a little further and you're serious about considering buying a home, hey, I'd love to sit down, talk for 30 to 45 minutes at my office, and we go through the 10 steps of buying a house. And if at the end you decide, hey, that's something I think I really want to do, then we'll go forward. But if it's something that, hey, Steve, thanks for the information, I appreciate it, don't think timing's right, I understand that too. And whichever pathway you want to take would be fine by us.